How's it going, guys? My name is Sean. Welcome to Venom Racing, and today we're going to be installing some Rally Armor mud flaps on my FK8 2017 Honda Civic Type R. And no vape is required. Alright, let's get to the install, guys. First step, so we're going to start on the front end. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn the steering wheel out away. That way it gives you room to work. And you can do this in the garage. You don't need a lift, or you don't even need to jack the car up, to be honest with you. So pretty much go ahead and turn the steering wheel out to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop out the first top retainer, and we're not going to be reusing that one, so don't worry about it. So we're just going to pop it in the middle and then pull it right out. Then we're going to pull out 3 more screws, and those are just going to be simple, your typical Phillips head screwdrivers. So we're going to unscrew those, and we're going to reuse those, so make sure you don't lose them. And then also on the 5th one, we're going to pull out this retainer on the inside, which you can use a good retainer tool, or you can use some I like to use wire cutters sometimes because they get wide enough and they can just pull it right out. So we're not going to be reusing that one either. So yeah, I mean, if you tear it up, no big deal. So it's pretty simple. It's a new car, so I mean, they shouldn't break on you. So we'll go ahead and pull those out. After that, we're going to go ahead and replace some of the metal retainer clips with the plastic retainer clips supplied by Rally Armor. So they're the orange ones in the bottom 2 section. So we're just going to replace those over. That way it'll give us something for our screws to go into. And then on the top area, we're going to install this little white retainer that we can actually screw into as well to hold the Rally Armor mud flap into place. There's only one white one, so it's pretty simple to find. So we're going to insert that in. Then after that, we're going to come down to we're going to get the Rally Armor mud flap itself, and we're going to get the supplied long screw with the spacer, and also they actually supply a plastic retainer, like a little clip, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull the retaining part out of it, and we're going to actually start threading the long screw in to the actual plastic retainer itself. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. I'll show y'all. And then after we do that, we're going to line the mud flap up with the hole, so the little plastic retainer, and then we're going to continue to tighten down on that so it tightens itself in. And then also another thing I found, it's very easy to distinguish the front and the rear mud flap, because the front one actually is a little bit longer up top compared to the bottom one. So I'll show you all the differences as well. Besides that, we'll go ahead and start. Once we get that in there, we'll go ahead and do not tighten it really that tight right now. That way we can get the mud flap actually aligned itself. And then what we'll do is we'll actually reuse the OEM screws in the first area, 3rd and 4th section, little holes, and then they actually supplied a shorter screw this time around, and then we'll go ahead and use that for hole number 2. And that's the front end, guys. Go ahead and get it aligned. And what I did was I actually downloaded an app on my phone, a leveler, so I can make sure it was 100%. I'm just a little OCD in that regard, so you can do that as well too. It's just a handy dandy leveler app on any phone, Android, Apple, it should work. And get it lined up, tighten it. Don't go super tight, obviously. They're plastic retainers. I mean, it doesn't have to be super tight, but just tighten them up, and then we'll go to the next side. Alright, guys, so that's how it all turned out. Pretty good in my opinion. And what I like to do is compare both sides, make sure they both look good. Yep, look great. Alright, now to the back. For the back side, what we're going to start off with is we're actually going to pull off the lower screw that's holding on the bumper to the fender liner actually. So we're going to pull that screw out, and we're going to reuse that one, so save it for later. Then we're going to get underneath the rear bumper, and we're going to remove these fasteners, which you can take a flathead screwdriver and kind of pry them down the middle section, and then just remove them completely. That's holding the little liner that's underneath the bumper. Now make sure not to break those, because we are going to reuse those. They're kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. Once you get that down, you pull the fasteners off, and you pull the little liner. What we'll do is the very front one that connects the valance to the rear bumper, the front one, we're going to remove that one. That one's kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest with you, to get out. But once you get it out, you're good to go. So then we're going to come out back to the outside of the car. We're going to grab the bracket that is specific for each side. So make sure you grab the right one. We're going to give it a slight curve to the top that matches the rear bumper liner. So that's going to be that curvature. Then also we're going to bend the inner bracket in towards the car. So that way your tire's not going to be rubbing on the mud flap. And then after that, we're going to put the bracket in sideways, and then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees so it lines up with each hole. And then after that, we're going to take the retainer that we previously removed inside the bumper that's by the retainer. We're going to actually put that one back in there. That's kind of a pain, but then once you get that in there, you just put the 4 retainers back in that holds the liner underneath the rear bumper. Then we'll put the, since we got the bracket installed, now all we have to do is get the, what is it called? Oh yeah, the mud flap. So we're going to put the mud flap up, align it like we did the front end, and tighten it down. That's it, guys. Alright guys, so we went ahead and wrapped up the install on the Rally Armor mud flaps on my FK8 Civic Type R. Probably, how difficult was it? It was pretty easy. It maybe took budget yourself for a little bit, around an hour I would say. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes because I was also filming and trying to learn how to do it correctly, so maybe it could be somewhat beneficial to y'all guys. So that took me about an hour and a half to do, but like I said, I worked a little bit slower so I could make sure I did it correctly. But yeah, I mean they look pretty good. I see a lot of guys putting the red, total red ones on blacks, and it's not a bad look, but me personally, I would like to at least keep it a little bit more subtle. The black ones with the red writing goes really well with the Civic Type R since it already has the red lining all throughout the car, so I think it goes really well. It's very subtle, and it'll help. My main reason for putting this on here is not to be a wannabe Subaru, want to be a rally car driver, but no, I just when I take this car out to BMTs and do a lot of back road driving, and there's a lot of little pebbles and some whatnot. Right now, the stock tires don't really stick out from the fenders very much, but later on down the line, I really do want to go with either some 18s or maybe even some 19s, Titan 7s, maybe some Volks. We'll see, but I want to go with a wider wheel setup and maybe some 255 or 265, so they're going to stick out a little bit farther, and they're going to throw some rocks at the paint. And since this is a black car, you'll notice it very well. So that's one reason why I went with the mud flaps. And plus, it's my daily driver. I'll be driving it back and forth between Oklahoma City and Kansas at least once a week. So just want to keep the paint looking as good as possible. So I hope this video is very beneficial to anyone that's wanting to install these. Go ahead and like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.